Hello everybody, welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2020 crime thriller with a little bit of comedy thrown in there, Original Gangster. A film that is written and directed by Savas D. Michael, and it stars Steve Guttenberg, Ian Reddington and Alex Mills. And it is a UK based crime gangster film, and it focuses on Castor, played by Alex Mills, who is orphaned as a young boy. Ian Reddington's character Milo is a hitman. Castor's parents are taken out, and Milo can't bring himself to kill a child, so he lets him go, thinking he's doing him some mercy, but Castor ends up growing up an orphan on the streets, essentially homeless. 10 years later, after, he basically gets by Castor by undergoing petty crimes, robbing shops, stealing people's wallets, that sort of thing, just so he can get by. And he runs into Milo again 10 years later, and he holds Milo on this huge pedestal. He thinks he saved his life. He doesn't realise he actually ruined his life. Milo takes him under his wing, introduces him to Steve Guttenberg's character, Jean-Baptiste Philippe, who is a London crime boss who gives Castor a job, essentially, as a hitman. And it all kind of spirals on from there. Right, what are my thoughts on Original Gangster? Well, there are some budgetary issues here with this film. There are times this film feels low budget and cheap, and that shines through occasionally with some aspects of the film. But overall, I think this is really quite a watchable film with some strong performances. It's like a crime thriller. It's got a bit of an identity crisis, I will definitely say that. It's a crime thriller with like this layer of humour that runs through the film that kind of pops up when it's appropriate or where it feels appropriate, and then disappears in other parts of the film. So it's got like this real identity crisis going on, and there's tonal issues throughout the film because of that. I would have preferred it to have committed a little bit further on the comedy, if that's what they wanted, or the gritty crime gangster stuff. But because it never delves too deep in any of the things it's trying to be, it becomes kind of its own thing, and it's really quite watchable because of it. You've got this Castor character played by Alex Mills, who you've got this level of sympathy for him because he lost everything as a child and he's grown up on the street, so you do have this level of sympathy for him. But he starts escalating his behaviours to get what he wants. He's very violent. Obviously, he's got issues, and his role model Milo is worse than him. He's this awful gangster who's terrible to his wife, and I mean really terrible to his wife. Treats her really badly. He treats Milo really badly. Well, he's a gangster. He's a hitman. It's to be expected, I presume. But that's his role model. That's Castor's role model. So he's not got a great person to learn from here. So it becomes his hitman for Steve Guttenberg's character. Now, Steve Guttenberg, where do we go with this? Right, Steve Guttenberg gives a performance here that is mad. It's hard to describe. You're not sure if it's good or bad. It's that kind of performance. Some will watch it and think that's the worst thing they've ever seen. Others will watch it and think he's just let loose. He's let his hair down, quite literally. He's got this terrible wig on. You would think with his name he's French, but he's not French. He's American. Obviously, Steve Guttenberg is American. Maybe they wanted him to be French, but he couldn't do the accent. Who knows? But what he does give is this actually quite charming and likeable performance as this London gang lord. But it's like a pantomime villain at the same time, a pantomime dame almost. It's bonkers, and I'm just not sure which camp I'm in, if I liked his performance or if I didn't. But definitely I can understand anybody that watches Steve Guttenberg in this and think, what is he doing? But yeah, there's a definite charm to this film. It's undeniable. It's too long. I think it's an hour and 50 minutes. It needed a good 15-20 minutes trimming off this film. There's more than a few scenes you watch and you think didn't need to be in the film at all. Those scenes. So I think they could have trimmed it down and made it run a bit better. The film. It's just at times a little bit arduous to get through in regards to some of the scenes, but it's almost like there's a gem in here somewhere that I think just needed a little bit bigger, a little bit more of a budget, a couple of actors here and there, better skilled, better edited down, and I think they almost had something a little bit special here with this film. It's a little bit different, it's a little bit out there. There's a definite charm and heart at the centre of the film. You can't help root for Castor despite his shortcomings, and you get a little bit of a romance later in the film and a little bit of a I don't know, a Shakespeare ending, I suppose. I'm not really sure. But yeah, I actually was really surprised by this film. I enjoyed this considerably more than I expected to. I'm not saying it, it's not going to change anyone's world or anything. It's not a Guy Ritchie film or anything like that. It's not ever going to be compared, but it is certainly quite fun and watchable. So I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. Worth checking out if you see it on the Asda shelves or on a streaming service for a fairly cheap price. I don't think you'll hate it particularly. They've put quite a bit of effort in here, I think, and it is a very, very watchable film. So that is my review for Original Gangster. Hope you liked it. I hope you found this review useful. Thanks for watching, everybody, and of course I will be back with plenty more content on the channel very, very soon.